On March 15, 2025, the world watched as explosions rocked several locations in Yemen. Former US President Donald Trump ordered these airstrikes. They targeted key areas controlled by the Houthi rebels. These included the capital city of Sana'a and the strategic port city of Hodeidah. The strikes were precise. They aimed to cripple the Houthis' military capabilities and infrastructure. This was a clear message that the US would not tolerate threats to its interests in the region. The immediate aftermath of the strikes was chaos and destruction. Buildings lay in ruins and the streets were filled with debris. The human cost was undeniable. Reports emerged of casualties, both rebels and civilians caught in the crossfire. The strikes marked a significant escalation of US involvement in the ongoing Yemeni conflict. This immediately drew condemnation from some international actors and humanitarian organizations. The situation in Yemen was already dire, plagued by years of civil war and a devastating humanitarian crisis. The airstrikes threatened to exacerbate the suffering of the Yemeni people. They also raised concerns about the potential for further destabilization in the region. The world held its breath, waiting to see how the Houthis would respond and what the long-term consequences of Trump's bold move would be. The Houthi rebels, a Shia Muslim group from northern Yemen, have long been a thorn in the side of regional stability. They seized control of the Yemeni capital, Sana'a, in 2014, plunging the country into a brutal civil war. Their aggression, however, extended beyond Yemen's borders, posing a significant threat to international trade and security. One of their most concerning tactics was their persistent attacks on commercial shipping in the Red Sea and the Gulf of Aden. These waterways are vital arteries for global commerce. Millions of barrels of oil pass through these routes daily, connecting Asia, Europe, and the Americas. The Houthis, armed with increasingly sophisticated weaponry supplied by Iran, targeted oil tankers, cargo ships, and even aid vessels. Their attacks disrupted supply chains, drove up shipping costs, and created a climate of fear and uncertainty in the region. These actions had far-reaching consequences, impacting global energy prices and threatening economic stability. Beyond the economic implications, the Houthis' attacks on shipping posed a direct threat to US interests and allies in the region. The United States maintains a significant naval presence in the region, tasked with ensuring freedom of navigation and protecting vital shipping lanes. The Trump administration argued that the airstrikes were a necessary response to the escalating Houthi aggression. They claimed that the rebels' attacks on shipping, particularly those targeting US warships and commercial vessels, could no longer be tolerated. Trump, known for his assertive foreign policy and America First rhetoric, saw these attacks as a direct challenge to US power and a threat to its economic interests. Furthermore, the Trump administration viewed the Houthis as a proxy force for Iran, a country with which the US had a long and tumultuous history. They accused Iran of providing the Houthis with advanced weapons, including missiles and drones, used in their attacks on shipping in Saudi Arabia. The airstrikes, therefore, were not only intended to punish the Houthis but also to send a clear message to Iran. The message was twofold. Firstly, the US would not stand idly by while Iran used proxy forces to disrupt regional stability and threaten its interests. Secondly, the US was demonstrating its commitment to its allies in the region, particularly Saudi Arabia and the United Arab Emirates. These countries had been locked in a proxy war with the Houthis for years and had repeatedly called for more robust US support. The immediate aftermath of the airstrikes was met with mixed reactions. While the US, Saudi Arabia, and the UAE defended the strikes as a necessary measure to counter the Houthi threat, others condemned them. Critics, including humanitarian organizations and some members of the international community, argued that the strikes would only exacerbate the humanitarian crisis in Yemen and lead to further instability in the region. The strikes also raised concerns about the potential for escalation and a wider conflict. The Houthis, in response to the strikes, vowed to retaliate against the US and its allies. This raised fears of a tit-for-tat cycle of violence, further destabilizing the region and jeopardizing international efforts to broker a peace deal in Yemen. The long-term consequences of Trump's decision to launch airstrikes in Yemen remain uncertain. The strikes undoubtedly achieved their tactical objective of degrading the Houthis' military capabilities. However, their strategic impact is less clear. Whether the strikes will deter future Houthi attacks on shipping or push the rebels to the negotiating table remains to be seen. The situation in Yemen is complex and deeply intertwined with regional rivalries and geopolitical interests. The international community now faces the daunting task of mitigating the humanitarian fallout from the airstrikes while navigating the treacherous path towards a peaceful resolution to the conflict.